welcome back to M&A Ambassadors, Becoming the USP, the Ultimate Sales Professional. Now this is the fifth in the mini-series on objection handling. And in the previous one, we talked about neutralizers, a technique that you use to cancel out the emotional content of the objection because the client might not be feeling very comfortable at that moment. It could be a negative emotion, it could be fear, it could be a doubt. All of these are emotions. So we used neutralizers which were negative, which were generic in nature, which means they could be applied to any kind of objection. On this video, I would like to talk about specific neutralizers. Now, the specific neutralizers are more powerful because they directly address the objection being raised and they use a sentence that is exactly the opposite of what the client said, not to answer the objection, but to neutralize the emotion. So let's look at some examples here. Let's say the client tells you Dubai is a bubble. The first thing I would do is I would turn around and say, Ahmed, I'm glad you brought that up. Markets must be strong before you can understand how you make money. So you see what I'm doing here? Instead of saying, I understand, I'm glad you brought that up, I take a statement that is directly associating with what he's saying. Another example, instead of saying Dubai is a bubble, maybe they'll tell you markets are down right now. I'd simply say, Ahmed, it's important that markets are good for you to make money. A third example of a specific neutralizer. Clients may turn around and say that too many projects in Dubai are delayed. For example, I'd simply say, Ahmed, on-time completion is important for you to make money. So if you can see with what I'm doing in these examples, I'm listening to what the client is saying, and then I'm making a statement that is the exact opposite of it. I'm cancelling out the feeling he's creating by giving him an opposite positive statement. So if the client tells you that the payment plan is very aggressive, I could probably use a statement like it's important that payment plans are attractive for you to earn quickly. That's an example. Client turns around and tells you that the developer does not have a great reputation. Ahmed, it's important that the developer has a good reputation for you to make money. So all I'm doing, I'm not answering the objection, I'm simply putting the opposite statement so that he moves from a negative emotion into a positive feeling. That's how you would do it. You would simply take the name of the client and you'd go exactly the opposite of what he said. Now, why is this so powerful? It's because you are directly addressing the statement that is putting the negative feeling in the client's head, and you're cancelling out that statement by actually putting the opposite statement in the head. So one negative, one positive, that's how they cancel out in the mind. When I say, I understand, I can see why you feel that way, the statement still remains, but I'm creating a good feel at that moment. In this case, I'm actually cancelling the effect of that statement with the exact opposite. So just make exactly the opposite statement and you will be able to neutralize the emotion. Another example, just so that we can understand this even better. Well, I think the prices are really high. Ahmed, it's important that you get a good return on your investment. So you see what's happening? He's thinking the prices will affect his earnings. So you are telling him it is important that you get a good return. One more example, client turns around and says, I think this is a lot, or I think it's very expensive. Ahmed, I agree, you should get value for your investment. So you see, I'm using money related statements because he's raising a price concern or an objection. That's what a specific will do with you. A specific cancels it out but positions the positive instrument, the positive statement as well in his mind. I want to thank you for joining me on this episode of M&A Ambassadors, Becoming the USP, the Ultimate Sales Professional.